There's a crucial mistake buyers make when buying a business that can cause massive headaches down the line after you own the company. But this mistake is easy to avoid once you understand that buyers and sellers want completely different things from a deal. So in this video, I'm going to show you the negotiation pitfall you need to avoid by explaining to a fellow business buyer what you must never do when you buy a business to prevent this happening to you. And here's that conversation.
Your first problem is a more in-depth discussion on how to finance a deal, particularly using vendor finance or seller financing, whichever you prefer to use, but also where a hybrid is used, such as asset or invoice financing to raise enough funds to give the seller a payment on day one, followed by vendor financing over the next 3, 4, 5 years to complete the purchase. So that's the problem. Do you want to ask your question rather than me assuming what it is that you either don't know, want to know? Do you want to ask me questions about that, and then I can deal with them on the hoof, as it were?
It's more about when I get to when I'm coming down to the deal stage. I'm trying to patch together the deal pie, I think they call it, whereby you've got a certain amount of seller finance, a certain amount of asset finance, a certain amount of invoice finance. Obviously, every seller would like 100% of the sale fee on day one so that they can walk away. And for everything I've watched from yourself or other business acquisition people have all said that that's not a good idea, that you should always keep quite a lot back.
There are two sides to the coin. Just to let me clarify, you'll probably find all sellers will want 100% money up front. I doubt very much there's many sellers who wouldn't want it. And there's a distinction between wanting and needing as well. So they may want it all up front, however, they may not need it all up front. And that's quite an important distinction to make, because that's part of your negotiation with the person, getting to know them, getting to know the business, building that rapport, and boiling down to what is it they need right now, particularly if they're motivated for reasons outside of the business. You don't want to be buying a business they're motivated to sell because the business is in distress. You want to be buying a decent, profitable, cash flowing business because the person themselves, I'll use the word distress. I mean, if they're retiring, they're not necessarily distressed, but they're leading up to a point where they want to get out. But it might be they are distressed. They're going through a divorce. They've got other problems like health problems, which I've had myself. So yes, it's the seller would probably want everything up front. However, it's not a good idea for you as a buyer to pay everything up front, not least because when you're buying a business, you don't know what things lurk behind the numbers.
Yes.
There could be tax problems. There could be, well, issues, the delamination problem that I had.
Yeah.
That in the end, it didn't cost me huge amounts of money. And I can't remember what I said in that video, to be totally fair. But what I was talking about was that at the time I purchased the business, this is, I think, where I went off on a tangent, where we had a 12-month, I took on when it had a 12-month guarantee, and I extended that to 10 years because of the secret shopping I did. Does that ring any bells with the video?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned that. Actually, you went out and you did some sales calls, and on one, the big order, you had a sales rep who initially went out, and then the customer insisted that you come out.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So that was the big order.
Yes.
But then you mentioned about the fact that you were getting a lot more complaints about the delamination.
That's right.
You went
yes.
back to the supplier, and you did a deal with the supplier just to replace them at cost price, more or less.
Yeah. So because technically they were outside of the warranty, if you like, of the business that I bought and the warranty that they were providing when I bought it. But I decided for goodwill purposes to honour that. Now, in that particular instance, I wouldn't have been able to deduct that from the seller financing, simply because he would turn around and say, well, you're going outside of the guarantee. They shouldn't be paid back. So I did that out of my own profits and it didn't cost, I mean, it was thousands of pounds, but the business at that point in time was making over £250,000 a year. So, a few £1,000s here and there to replace delaminated doors wasn't a big deal. But the point I'm making is that there could be things like that come out of the woodwork. There could be contingent liabilities that become a natural liability. There could have been something that the owner either didn't know about or didn't disclose, and then you could deduct that from what you owe them. And that's one of the main reasons why you wouldn't want to pay them 100% upfront. That's basically what we're saying there. So yes.
So now you know what you should never do when buying a business. Let's bring this back to you. So if you want help with your own journey to buy a business, from finding deals to valuing businesses to structuring the purchase, you can follow the link below to book in your free Zoom session just like this one. And by knowing what not to do when you buy a business, you massively improve your odds of success when you finally own one. But how do you find profitable cash flowing businesses to buy in the first place? And how do you find those hidden gems that never hit the open market? Watch this video next and I'll show you how to find motivated sellers who need to sell their business before anyone else gets to see it.